What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points as well as why Lucid has been very abnormal over this last week. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 1.02%. We are about to head into power hour in the next couple of minutes and very little volume. So 10.7 million shares have been traded, 25.1 is the average. So I have been bringing up quite a lot, in fact, just how Lucid has been abnormal. Even today, just Lucid is outperforming, for instance, Tesla, Rivian, Polestar, NIO, every EV. So why? Because there's been no news, no SEC filings today to really justify Lucid outperforming other EVs. There was this news that came out on April the 17th, which, mind you, was very positive, but still, given the blood in the market, you would assume that Lucid is going to be like 10 times worse than the market, as what has happened in the past. But this week, in among itself, has been just interesting, even when it comes down to options. So when it comes to Lucid, and just even right now, the low volume, typically in Lucid's case, whenever there's been low volume, it's even more prone to manipulation, because even looking right here, shorts, for whatever reason, feel justified for it to return, or for them to return 338.91 thousand shares. And I have been looking at a lot of stocks today, and many of those stocks have shorts doubling the hell down. They're giving the middle finger to the market and to those stocks, but somehow in Lucid's case, once again, you are having maybe a sense of optimism. And so this is why I like to analyze this information, because this in among itself is very positive and bullish. 32.33% of the free float is being shorted, so that obviously is very high, the number one most heavily shorted EV out there, as I've pointed out, but 286.35 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 98.4%, and then cost to borrow average is 46.85. So this is one of those very weird scenarios that, again, even though it's all-time high short interest, why are they returning? Because there's a couple of things that are affecting the broader market right now. One is the Feds came out earlier this morning and said, you know what, we are going to be looking at the data, and dependent on the data, we're going to do what is right. And so that does insinuate, or could be interpreted as, raising rates. And even though they kind of hinted at that a couple days back, that spooked the broader market. So as crazy as that sounds, they might potentially raise the rates. So it's just a very messed up market right now. I don't know why they'd even be bringing that up. That is just horrific timing. But then again, we are in power hour as well. So you are having last minute selling just in case there is some maybe World War III or some kind of conflict that does arise over the weekend. People are just hedging. So this is why you are seeing a very broad pullback today, or at least near this part right here. Lucid is participating in that at least, but throughout the day, Lucid's been doing fairly well because, like I said, even just looking at Tesla has been crazy, Rivian's been very volatile and pointing towards the downtrend, and Lucid has been holding up like a champ. It's been holding this S2, so the $2.43 mark, very well, and I brought that up over this last several videos. But the only recent thing that I wanted to bring up, it's unrelated to any news, is this right here. So there was a new analyst rating that came out yesterday. It was announced, I believe, early this morning, but it shows as yesterday. But RBC Capital, Tom, who does have a 51% success rating, did give a $3 price target. So even though $3 is very crappy, if you ask me, but it is higher than where we currently are. So the market is and was probably taking that as a very strong positive. So in reality, if they do have a good kick-ass earnings in a couple of weeks, then you should see a lot more bullish ratings coming down the pipeline, despite the amount of fear that is in the market. And I'll give you a quick overview of the current estimates, just so you guys are aware. So it looks like still 7 analysts that have given estimates. Earnings per share is negative 26 cents per share. And then revenue, you want to look at this. So 7 analysts with a consensus of 157.13 million. So ultimately no change in the number of analysts giving ratings, just the revenue did go up. So there was one bullish analyst that must have adjusted their estimates. and are a little bit more optimistic because it went from 152.49 million to 157.13 million. And just to give you a quick overview, latest Morningstar report does show the fair market value being $4.39. So take with that what you will. On a side note, if you are looking for a lot of good compiled information, take a look at Interactive Brokers for all of this information to be completely free. Link in the description below and also the comments. But quickly going over options, and so as even this article does say, Lucid unusual options activity. So every aspect of Lucid has been abnormal. So today, $289,000 in calls, 3.45 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 77% of all the options being done today are bearish. So you have shorts, which the market is in a massive bloodbath right now. You have them returning some shares, and then options wise, you have this extremely bearish. So something doesn't really add up. And plus, also on a side note, there's only been 2 transactions on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money hasn't been the culprit that's been keeping Lucid up over this last little bit. It's just algorithmic trading. So algorithms are very optimistic on Lucid for whatever reason. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Dark pools, as usual, is a little bit more popular and active, and this is linked to shorting. So obviously just take that with a grain of salt. And I know I go through this relatively fast, but you can always pause it and read through it and kind of read line by line if you see fit. Aside from that though, with it at $2.42, it is still flirting with this S2. So we'll have to wait and see what does happen. But again, Lucid is definitely faring fairly well. Comparing it to even Nvidia's down 9.12%, like everything is just massively bleeding out. So again, Lucid is doing very well. So you just have to watch for this S2 to hold. On the actual chart itself, it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Looking at stochastic, you do see it at 9. So that is relatively low, aka oversold. And despite everything though, to make things even more interesting, I wonder how many times I've said interesting throughout the video, but you do see a bullish deviation, so white line above the red. So kind of, I don't want to say interesting again, but kind of unique. There we go, different word. So as you can kind of see right here as well, number of retail investors are slightly getting out, and you can see that from the momentum indicator. So all in all, what is your take on Lucid? Why do you think AI is automatically now a lot more optimistic on Lucid? Do you think it is kind of correlated with that recent analyst rating, as well as this news that came on the 17th? Because in my opinion, I think that this news is very positive, and overall maybe does signal that the underlying product is better than maybe the competitors. I don't know. This is just me speculating, but what's your guys' thoughts as well? Why do you think that shorts are returning on a bloodbath day that they can pretty much almost guarantee some easy money? Again, depending on if there is like a situation or conflict that does arise over the weekend. So let me know your thoughts. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. It is just free shares. So throw $100 at a new account with Moo, and they give you 7 fractional shares. So a $35 total value, pretty good return on investment. So take advantage of this, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.